so I'm a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. My husband works full-time and gets an okay salary, but he's tightened the grip on spending for the past 4 months to save up to watch the football event overseas. He's literally obsessed with anything to do with football. He said he rarely ever gets to do what he wants, and so I didn't want to judge him since it's his money eventually. We discussed plans for Christmas, and he told me to handle everything since he won't be back until December 20th. He told me he had put money aside for Christmas decorations, food, gifts, kids' needs, etc. The total amount was $100. I was completely shocked. I told him that $100 for an entire family's Christmas celebration was ridiculously not enough. He shrugged, saying it's all he has, but I pointed out how he's paying for his friend and his girlfriend's travel expenses. He told me to just take it. But I said that if he decided to leave me with just $100, I wouldn't be doing anything for Christmas. We had lots of arguments and couldn't resolve this issue. He's in Qatar now. He left days ago. Yesterday, while I was cleaning, I found an envelope with the same $100 and a note from him telling me to make it work. So I sent him a message saying that I won't be doing anything for Christmas with this little money, period. He was livid. He just kept sending angry messages, calling me spoiled and telling me to stop expecting to live like I was still living in my parents' house and to stop trying to rob the kids of enjoying the holidays like other kids. I'm planning on going to stay with my parents. They live a few towns away, but I don't intend to return for Christmas. They miss their grandkids too. I haven't replied to my husband, but he's livid, saying I'm punishing him for going and trying to guilt him using his own money. So am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This sounds like financial abuse. Why is it his money when you're in charge of the household administration and childcare, while he waltzes off with his friends to pay thousands to watch a bunch of overpaid idiots kick a ball around a stadium built on eco-destruction and human rights violations? No sane person from this century could pull off Christmas with only $100 unless they go in for petty theft on a grand scale. It's ultimatum time. He needs to treat you as an equal financially, or you'll even get child support. Not only that, he would rather pay for his friend and his girlfriend to travel than provide his kids with a decent holiday. He's putting his friends before his family, which is not okay. Some people do a cheap Christmas with paper chains, reused decorations, limited food, and focus on family time together, but I'm betting my husband would throw a fit if that was the outcome. Take your kids and go. Go to your parents, have a beautiful Christmas without your husband, and get a divorce. Why do you have no say in finances? You are financially abused. Your relationship sounds utterly shocking, to be honest. He seems to have complete control, and you are seen as worthless. My heart breaks that you are treated as if you have no value. Yeah, tell him to stick Christmas up his rear. Exactly. OP, stop going along with his foolishness and his money issues. If he wanted to think of his income as his own, he should not have gotten married and had children. It is now the family's money. As a wife, you have rights. If he does not understand, a divorce lawyer may be able to explain it to him. Merry Christmas. I used $100 to file for a divorce. Thanks. My fiancé, a 40-year-old man, and I, a 36-year-old woman, have been together for 2 years. I have 3 children from my previous marriage. My fiancé loves them and treats them as his own, but he constantly complains about specific behaviors and says that the children lack discipline. I never understood what he meant, but he is a teacher and can take this whole discipline thing a bit too far. I have noticed that he has been conducting some tests lately to see how the children would act in certain situations. For example, he once left his journal out to see if any of my children would snoop. He also left money lying around to see who would touch it, or even lied, saying who wants Skittles, to see if any of the children would come to him downstairs. The most recent incident, which I was not aware of until later, was yesterday. He told the children that he had lost $1 from his pocket and offered $10 to whoever found it. The children searched the house for an hour, but my 2 youngest could not find anything. However, my teenage son went to my fiancé and told him he had found the dollar and gave it to him. My fiancé lost it and started yelling, "Ah, got you now!" My son was confused. It turns out that my fiancé had not actually lost any money and had lied about the dollar to see how the children would react. My son obviously failed because he pretended to have found the dollar, but in reality, he had taken it from his allowance and given it to my fiancé, hoping to get the $10. My fiancé said that because of my son's dishonesty and greed, he punished him by taking away all of his allowance for the month and confiscating his electronics for a week. I got into an argument with him and called him delusional because these mind games were getting ridiculous. Besides, my son did not actually steal anything from him, he just failed his silly test. Kids make mistakes and learn. My fiancé still talked about how this was about principles and that he was trying to teach my children to become decent adults. But I thought this had gone too far. I refused to let him punish my son. Now he's calling me an enabler and said that his attitude wouldn't help when we got married, because it undermines his authority as a parent and enables unacceptable behavior for my kids. He said, and I quote, "I will not tolerate having greedy and dishonest individuals living under my roof." Am I the idiot for refusing to let him punish my son for what he said he did? I might be undermining his authority and not giving him a chance to be a parent. Not the idiot. I think you forgot to put ex-fiancé in the title. Also, what even is the logic behind that dumb test? They searched for several hours for some dollar that didn't exist, and he just let that go? Also, he's not a parent. You and the kid's biological father are. He's not even a step-parent yet, and he's already pushing boundaries? Virtue testing people you're supposed to care about isn't loving. It's abusive and manipulative. The only lesson your kids should be taking away from this exercise is, don't trust what fiancé says. He's probably just setting me up. Also, the hypocrisy about dishonest individuals. His entire setup was predicated on a lie. What an idiot. Yo, this man is nuts, and the fact that he's a teacher is awful. I would talk to your kids separately and together, away from your fiancé, about how they feel about him. These mind games are not okay, and will impact your relationship with your kids and the relationship he has with your kids. You are the idiot if you marry this man. He claims he loves them, but constantly complains about their behavior and dishonestly tests them. How exactly does he love them? He's already undermining your authority. If you don't leave this man, you will end up no contact with your kids in the future. Please get him out of your life. He's poison. I got a new car earlier this year, and it's the first big item I've bought for myself. It's my baby, and I take good care of it. This weekend I had to drive to Town B for work. To get to Town B, I have to drive through Town A, where my girlfriend's mother lives. So my girlfriend asked if I could give my girlfriend and her son a ride there to visit her mother. We left yesterday, and I reminded her and her son of my #1 rule, no food in the car. She said whatever, agreed, and we went off. On the way, her son complained about being hungry, so we stopped at a gas station and the two of them went off to grab something and eat quickly. After about 20 minutes, they came back to the car and both had slushies. I stopped them and told them that they couldn't drink that in my car. She said they couldn't possibly finish it fast enough without making us late, and that she wasn't even willing to do that. This resulted in a back and forth of arguing, and the ultimatum was to leave them there, or suck it up. Finally, I gave in and let them in, cautioning them to be careful. After about 30 minutes, her son spilled the slushie all over my car. Her son drifted off and dropped the melted slushie all over the back seat. I yelled a curse word and pulled over to clean it up. After cleaning it up, I returned to the driver's seat and just drove. I was livid, but I knew that fighting or arguing over this wouldn't solve anything. Still, I was in no mood to talk, so I remained silent for the rest of the ride, only giving short answers when spoken to. I dropped them off at her mother's and kept driving. When I reached my lodging, I saw a message from my girlfriend calling me an idiot for giving them the silent treatment and making her son feel like crap over an honest mistake. Am I the idiot? You made it very clear how important keeping the car clean is to you. They ignored your boundaries, and exactly what you were afraid of happening, happened. And hunger is no excuse. A hungry kid doesn't need a slushie. they could have grabbed a banana, string cheese, and a bottle of water, all of which could be consumed quickly and aren't messy. She had to know the slushie was a bad idea. She just didn't care. I can only imagine the vivid colors in a slushie. I would be silent too. It was an honest mistake. She bought slushies. They cannot be consumed quickly, so she knew they would end up in your car. This is a perfect example of the difference between an accident and the unintended results of taking an unnecessary risk. And on top of that, there is no lid, and it's a sticky mess when it's spilled and dries. Even if your car wasn't new and you hadn't established rules for it, people should know better than to hold a slushie in their hand when they might fall asleep and spill it everywhere. In your case, you had clearly warned them, and they ignored you. She should have to pay to have it cleaned. She's a mom. She knew the chances of the slushie ending up dumped in OP's car were pretty high. Most people who care wouldn't have wanted to chance it. OP, she made the active choice to disregard your boundaries. Get out now. This situation will only get worse. I, a 49-year-old male, have 2 children, Jake, 23, and Nikki, who is almost an adult. Their mother and I are divorced. I have full custody, and she provides no support. Both of my kids are good students with good grades. Jake got into his dream school, but didn't receive any scholarships. His undergraduate school is one of the best in our part of the country, and it's expensive. I didn't want him to take out any loans and carry debt, so I'm paying for his tuition and living expenses. The total cost is roughly $50,000 a year. He's following our family tradition and pursuing a career in dentistry. I'm not a dentist, but we have about a dozen dentists and oral surgeons in our family. Therefore, I will also be paying for his dentistry degree. While I know it will be costly, I view this as a good investment since he'll have a starting salary of about $120,000. As a dentist in our area, if he decides to become an oral surgeon, his starting salary will double. Nikki is a senior in high school. Like her brother, she is a good student and will have a good chance of getting into her dream school. However, she has a low chance of receiving any scholarships. Her dream school is also a highly regarded institution located in a costly city. Tuition and living expenses would amount to approximately $75,000 per year. The issue is that she has always dreamed of becoming a teacher since she was young, and has made it clear that she wants to major in education to become a middle school teacher. The other problem is that the salary for middle school teachers in our area ranges from $48,000 to $60,000. I fully understand that she could potentially move and work elsewhere, but I cannot imagine that there are many middle school teachers in the US making 6 figures. I do not see paying over $300,000 for a career that caps at $60,000 as a wise investment. I told my daughter that the state school, which is 2 hours away, has a reputable education program, and her in-state tuition and living expenses would only be around $20,000 per year. Paying $80,000 for a teaching degree is a much better investment. I have tried discussing this matter with Nikki, but she becomes upset every time I bring it up. She cries and accuses me of favoring her brother and being misogynistic, which is not true. I told her that if she chooses a major with a starting salary of $100,000, I would happily pay for her to attend her dream school. However, I am not willing to spend $300,000 on an education degree. Now other family members have become involved. Some are staying out of it, some agree with me, and some are telling me not to play favorites. I feel terrible, and I am starting to doubt myself. Am I wrong? Edit. I thought I made it clear, but apparently I did not. I am not limiting Nikki's education to $20,000 per year. I told her that is the maximum amount I am willing to pay for her education degree. I am more than happy to pay $75,000 per year if she chooses a different major that will have a better return. For a while, she considered becoming a doctor and fell in love with England. We have family there, so I even offered to pay for her to attend Oxford, which would be double the cost of her brother's tuition. However, she is determined to become a middle school teacher, and I am not willing to spend $300,000, which I have worked hard for, on an education degree. You are the one in the wrong. OP would rather his daughter make money than pursue something that makes her happy. It is acceptable for her to be miserable as long as she is making money. Teaching the next generation is not an option. This entire post reeks of favoritism. I hope the dentist switches to an art major halfway through. Come on, Dad, your explanation does not make sense. Why pay for the son's education when he has a good shot at earning a great salary and can pay off his debt himself? That's why many people go into high-paying careers in the US. This way, they'll be able to pay off their student loans. Your daughter will have a much more difficult time with this. Be fair, either pay for both kids to go to their dream college, or neither of them. You are clearly favoring your son here. He's following the family tradition, and you're happy to take on a load of debt for him. But you won't do the same for your daughter, because her career choice is a problem. You'll only take on debt for your child if they pursue the careers you want them to. Go back to your daughter before you lose her. You should at least pay what you're paying for your son's education, and let her take out student loans for the rest. I, a 29-year-old male, found out that I have a tween daughter. It's a long story of how I found out, but just to be clear, yes, I'm sure she's mine. I've been trying to get to know her, and she stays with me a lot. I've decided that this is the right time to introduce her to my family. I have a big family with many siblings and neighborings. They know about my daughter, and some of them have met her. However, some of my siblings whom I'm not very close to, or who live in another city, haven't met her yet. My siblings and I stay at our parents' home for the entire holiday, and this year I'm taking my daughter with me. Every Christmas, my siblings make a list of gifts. This list is for all the kids in the family, and it's designed so that every kid will receive the same gifts, and no one will get upset that someone else is getting a better gift. It's also designed so that all of my siblings, even the ones who don't have good jobs, can afford it. My sister sent me this year's list and told me that this is what I should get for my child this year. I looked at the list, and it mostly consisted of clothes and one toy of our choice. I told her I was sorry, but this was my daughter's first Christmas with me, and I wasn't going to get such low-quality gifts for her. I have my own list. She argued that every kid in the family was getting these gifts, and getting anything else would make other kids upset. I told her I didn't care. The other issue is that my siblings usually travel by train. I used to go with them, but it's a very long and tiring journey. So I told her that this year I'd get plane tickets for me and my child, which made her angrier, and she called me an idiot. She's told all my siblings, and most of them are calling me an idiot for not considering how their children would feel if I do this. Only 2 of my siblings are on my side and the rest think I'm an idiot. Not the idiot. I'm sorry, but this family tradition seems pretty manipulative. I understand that all kids want to feel equal, but nobody should dictate what gifts a parent wants to give to their child. This is not real equality, it's controlling. Agreed? It's a shame, because they're trying to be fair, but they're going about it the wrong way. First, all parents should be involved in the discussion of deciding which gifts to buy because they know what their kids will enjoy. Some siblings made a list based on what their kids wanted or needed. Instead of a list, they could have figured out a price range to stick within. If some parents want to get additional presents, they should bring the main one to open on Christmas Day and save anything else as a surprise for when they get home. And it would be foolish to stay the course and give preferential treatment to your daughter. This will not do her any favors with your extended family, especially her new cousins. They may resent her if she suddenly becomes the long-lost golden child who receives special and better gifts. Do not put her in this position, as it is not fair.